I can hear Penelope purring.
In our soundtrack.
Welcome back to today's anatomy question. Hello, Mary Richards.
Hello, Lizzie Lasater.
So we are back with our essential alignment series with experiential anatomy, and it's all based on Mom's book. I'll put the link below, 30 Essential Yoga Poses. We are on pose 13, which is in the book called Headstand Preparation Pose. So this book is a great resource. I hope all of you are going to order it. In the chapter, it talks about sort of dog pose on the elbows.
Yes.
Which we know as a kind of shoulder opening preparation pose for headstand. But because we are making the rules, Mary and I have decided that we would love, actually I would love to talk about headstand, or for you to talk about headstand with us today. Because if I'm honest, it's a pose that has really slipped out of my home practice. I guess I have a little bit of fear about the pose, like maybe it's too much compression on my neck, or maybe the risks are higher than the reward. So it's not that I can't do the pose, it's that I just sort of have stopped with a little bit of a sense of fear, I guess, just like, ooh, maybe this is too extreme in my, as I approach middle age, like maybe I just don't need it anymore. You know what I'm saying? I did it a lot in my 20s in classes and in Mysore Ashtanga rooms. And now I just notice, like, I do a lot of supported shoulder stand, restorative yoga, but headstand has fallen off. So what can you say about in your opinion, the importance of headstand? Am I missing out? What is your philosophy about this pose, Mary?
Okay, so I want to just plant two seeds. First, I love headstand. And I'm older than you are.
Yeah.
I stand on my head every day that I'm not in the Moon Club.
Really?
Yes, I do. It's good for my pitta. I have a pitta problem, and and I tend to really rely on my intellect because it's a safe space for me. And what Sirsasana does for me is it allows me to turn my world upside down and challenge my perspective. It actually reminds me that I'm not the center of the universe. Penelope is. I have to remember the Penelope is. And so I love the pose personally. Now, the other seed I want to plant is there are many people who absolutely headstand is contraindicated for them. If there are any bulging herniated discs in the neck, if there's any sort of distortion, alignment issue in the cervical region, really in the vertebral column as a whole, that has to be discussed with a very experienced teacher. Right. But any sort of problems with the neck, yes, headstand's not your friend.
I was always taught pain, right? Like, you know, obviously if there's any pain or discomfort, really, this is not the pose, right?
Yeah, but see, it's more than that. It's not just, pain is too late, to tell you the truth. Okay. You know, pain is like the last warning system. It's the final alarm. And if you're ringing that alarm, there was a problem way before that. And so I believe, you know, opinion alert, as your mom would say, that we underteach headstand. We undertrain teachers to share the practice, etc. I have some benchmarks for practicing headstand safely. If you can't do 3 full body push-ups with exquisite form, you've got no business standing on your head. If you're unable to hold the prep pose for at least 36 rounds of breath, okay, you are underprepared for headstand. Right. You know, we have to prepare the field before we can plant it. Okay. And because what's happening is people are literally doing headstand, but it's not actually, the weight isn't on your, about 10% of the weight's on your head. Right. The rest of it has to be in your shoulder girdle And so how we set up for that asana is critically important to safely practicing it, as well as enjoying it. Because see, if the base isn't right, you know, if you're not in the sweet spot on your head, and most importantly, if you're not really able to use your shoulder girdle to translate the work out of the head into the body, then everything else is going to be off all the way up to your feet, because what happens in the neck happens in the feet.
Hashtag Mary Richards. Okay, why don't I do it? I've got my camera. Let me pause here.
Okay.
I'm a bit bigger. And I like to use a blanket.
Great.
And I'm going to move myself a smidge closer just because we're filming. I want to have the wall there as a security blanket.
Absolutely. And here's the thing, props are awesome for Sirshasana. Behind me, I have a headstander and I have a yoga wall. I'm going to just flip my camera. I have a fully kitted yoga wall. I do both suspended and shoulder and stand-based headstands, as well as on the floor. So there are options. I'm just showing you that because there are options for people.
Right.
If you want the benefits of headstand, but you have a neck problem, a shoulder problem, or you have glaucoma, macular degeneration, essential hypertension that's not managed with medication, etc., you know, there are other things you can do.
Yeah. Okay. So I will take the pose.
Okay.
Remove the bun.
Yeah, the hair's always in the way, right? Okay. And just make sure, Lizzie, you're on what used to be the soft spot of your skull when you were a baby. Okay. Now, push up through the balls of the feet. Try to touch the ceiling. Drag the weight of the legs out of your pelvis and try to stab the ceiling with the bony point of your breastbone. And really push down through your forearms. Nice, Lizzie. Roll your thighs in toward one another just a little bit. Yes, there we go. Could you feel that? Well, you can't talk really because you're on your head. Really push down through those arms. Yes, nice, Lizzie. Drag the legs out of the body. Nice. Breastbone is trying, the tip of the breastbone is trying to touch the ceiling. Yes. Lovely. And rest in child's pose, yeah. So it's really important, folks, that you take at least 4 rounds of breath. Longer would be better in child's pose after headstand, so you can allow your blood pressure to readjust.
All right, I don't know if it's just the Mary Richards effect, but I did enjoy that pose more than I have in a long time.
What changed for you, Lizzie?
Let me come back up here. So yeah, what I had maybe sort of fallen off on thinking, or hadn't been thinking so much, so consciously in the front of my mind, was about really transferring a lot of weight into my arms. So that was kind of front of mind in the pose. And then I had, sometimes when I come down, I feel a kind of tingle up my cervical spine that I don't like, almost like blood rushing back or something. And I didn't feel it that time.
That's awesome. So that tingle, the reason why I went,
You feel like that?
Not a poker player.
Well, what's the tingle?
That's nerve compression. Okay, so the fact that you didn't have that is awesome, because what was happening before is you had compression, but because you were using your arms so much, you didn't get the facet joints didn't close down on one another so much, and you didn't have the nerve compression. And that's huge. That's huge. And that's what we want. And what I could see, even, you know, across the Atlantic Ocean and Europe, what I could see is when I invited you to push down more, and as well as to push up through the balls of your feet and to try to stab with the xiphoid process, I saw you balance out. Because when you first went up in the pose, you were piked in the hip, and we see this hip flexion a lot. It's a grab in the wrong area, though. It's the wrong end of the psoas, if you will. We want the legs more vertical so that we can really use the abdominals as stabilizers for the lumbar, and also to stabilize the weight of the pelvis.
And what I felt, this is the last thing before we'll close, what I felt that was so delicious actually when I made that adjustment is I had a spontaneous sense of real emptiness in my intestines, like a updraft, an uplift there. What do you call that, or what do you think of that as energetically?
That we call a shunya, contentless space, and you only know it when it isn't there.
That's beautiful.
Yeah.
All right, Mary Richards, thanks for playing anatomy with us once again.
It's my favorite game.
Well, I hope so. This is the website. We need you around for years to come for anatomy teaching and learning. www.experientialanatomy.yoga if you want to join our Sangha of yoga anatomy enthusiasts. You're going to get on the newsletter there and get lots of emails from me. Mary, where can everyone find you online?
At maryrichardsyoga.com, on Facebook at A Little Yoga Goes a Long Way, and on Instagram at Yoga with Mary Richards.
All right. And I'm LizzieLasater.com, Instagram, Facebook, and there's a new Experiential Anatomy Instagram. So click over to that and give us a follow. Thank you so much, Mary. Namaste.
My pleasure. Namaste, Lizzie.
Bye, everyone.